I don't know if this is a hot take. I'm gonna go with Khamzat. I think he's showed in that Burns fight. He ain't just a wrestler. He can stand in the fire and delivers some heavy hand. And I think you blend that with the wrestling, just like Oliveira, he can do a little bit of open. I think that opens up either the wrestling or the striking. I think he's able to beat Dricus.
MMA pros have just reacted to Khamzat Chimaev's new training video ahead of his fight with Dricus du Plessis. However, Corey Sandhagen discussed the competitiveness of the matchup, the possibility of an early finish, size and strength differences, grappling effectiveness, 5-round stamina, and overall conditioning.
Cool, that'll be a good fight. It's hard to bet against either one of them, honestly, just because they've both been looking really awesome. I think that if Chimaev doesn't finish him early, I think DDP will probably win that one.
What do you think's more likely? Do you think it's an early finish, or do you think DDP will?
No, I don't think so. I think DDP will be a lot bigger and really hard to take down and hold down.
Mm-hmm.
And then I know that like grappling in the way that Chimaev does, you don't have like 5 rounds of that in you, or maybe he does, but I don't think that he will. And then I think as the fight goes on, he'll get a little bit tired, and DDP's size and his conditioning is such a factor.
Moreover, Jack Hermanson discussed the overall competitiveness of the fight between Khamzat Chimaev and Dricus du Plessis. He focused on the early difficulty Dricus might face, the potential shift in momentum during the later rounds, and the challenge Chimaev would encounter despite being favored.
That's going to be an amazing fight, and I think Khamzat is going to pull it off. But I do think that, you know, especially early, I think it's going to be tough for Dricus. But if he can push the fight into the later rounds, I think he can have an advantage. So it's going to be a really interesting one. But I'll bet my money on Khamzat in that one. But, you know, not like some people think that he's just going to run him over. But I think it's going to be a tough fight.
However, Khamzat Chimaev was recently seen wrestling Olympic gold medalist Abdulrashid Sadulayev in an intense training session. The two elite athletes pushed each other with powerful exchanges, relentless pressure, and high-level technique. The sparring showcased Chimaev's raw strength and Sadulayev's precision, creating a fast-paced, aggressive clash between two wrestling powerhouses. Moreover, Curtis Blades discussed Khamzat Chimaev's striking and wrestling skills, his ability to blend both effectively, his past performances, and how that style could match up against Dricus du Plessis.
I don't know if this is a hot take. I'm gonna go with Khamzat. I think he's showed in that Burns fight. He ain't just a wrestler. He can stand in the fire and delivers some heavy hand. And I think you blend that with the wrestling, just like Oliveira, he can do a little bit of open. I think that opens up either the wrestling or the striking. I think he's able to beat Dricus.
Caio Borralho discussed the unpredictability of the matchup, du Plessis' tendency to exceed expectations, Chimaev's explosive style, the impact of early aggression, how the fight might play out over time, and his slight leaning toward Chimaev while acknowledging du Plessis' upset potential.
That's a hard one, because every time I bet against DDP, he shut my mouth. So it's hard, but he's facing Khamzat. You know, Khamzat is very hard in the first or second round, so I think he can get it done real fast. But all the way, if not done real fast, I think Dricus, you're gonna make him have a hard night. So I'll go Khamzat. Maybe Dricus will shut my mouth again, but I'll go Khamzat.
John Wood discussed Dricus du Plessis' unorthodox style, physical strength, power, improved cardio, ability to handle early pressure, and the potential for a late stoppage against Khamzat Chimaev.
Again, kind of like the Pena-Harrison fight, I'm going to go with Dricus on this one. I'm going to go with Dricus in a gritty, dirty, nasty fight. He's going to have a rough couple rounds. but I think he's going to stick around. I don't think he's an easy guy to finish. It's an awkward style. He's strong. He's big. You know, cardio issues I don't think are a thing anymore. I think that he is going to get deep into that fight, and I think he finishes him.
Chael Sonnen discussed the difficulty of the matchup, Du Plessis' takedown defense, ground control resistance, and the rising competitiveness of the middleweight division. He also highlighted the excitement surrounding the 185-pound class.
I mean, this isn't a simple fight where you go, well, go out and take him down. It's like, yeah, good luck. Go out and take him down. Yeah, it's true. And then you got to hold him there once you do it. Oh, and by the way, nobody else has taken down and held Dricus there. Like, this fight is starting to look different. The entire division is starting to look different. There's never been a time that 185 pounds has had such a spotlight on it. I'm watching this guy, Kyle Barrow, myself. I'm thinking this guy might quietly be the real assassin of that division, but that's not easy to say. I think Bo Nickel go all the way to the top. And I think that DeRinner is greatly underrated. And I don't think Sean Strickland is ready to move on just yet. Like, 185 is a really exciting proposition.
Chael talked about Chimaev being the favorite, the importance of the opening round, early takedown scenarios, and how momentum could shift if Du Plessis survives the initial pressure.
Is it a surprise that Chimaev is a favorite? No, I would expect him to be. But I also feel as though if I were predicting this today, I would lean Chimaev. As long as you didn't ask me a follow-up question. Like if I told you, hey, I think Chimaev's going to beat Dricus. Okay, great. If we all get up and walk out of the room, we're fine. The problem is if you're going to ask me how. How is he going to beat him? Because I am not fully confident that Chimaev can take him down at will. I'm not fully confident he can keep him there. We're going to know in the very first round. If Dricus gets taken down in the first round, things are going to unravel very quickly. But if he can defend a takedown for the entire first 5 minutes, it's only going to get easier to stay on your feet after that. It's an exciting match. I would expect Chimaev to be the favorite. And he is.
Luke Rockhold discussed mindset and willpower in fights, Chimaev's aggression, the importance of early control, wrestling effectiveness, and how the fight dynamic could change in the later rounds in favor of Dricus Du Plessis.
It's not always about the most technical guy, you know, it's the guy who wants it more. And
how do you think he fares against Khamzat?
I think Khamzat is a go for broke kind of guy. Khamzat, if he can't out wrestle you, he can't control you in that fierce state of direction of what he does. You know, I think he'll break. Khamzat will get him if he'll get him, but if he can't get him, it's going to be a hard third, fourth, and fifth round. Right. I think that's going to be all Dricus.
So if it goes into the championship rounds, you like the champ?
Yeah, 100%.
Reinier de Ridder discussed how many people are overlooking Dricus Du Plessis, his unorthodox fighting style, and his ability to find ways to win. He highlighted Du Plessis' strength in building momentum and finishing fights stronger than he starts.
Khamzat versus Du Plessis. Predictions?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are underestimating Dricus right now. If you look at like fights they've had, it looks a bit sloppy when Dricus fights, but he always gets them. He gets better as longer as the rounds go on.
Ridder also talked about Du Plessis' ability to handle early aggression, the potential for a late finish in the 4th or 5th round, and the overall uncertainty of the fight's outcome.
And I think he can survive that early onslaught of Khamzat. So I think Dricus can pull the win out. Maybe a late finish, 4th or 5th round. But we'll see.
Alexander Gustafsson discussed Khamzat Chimaev's wrestling and grappling skills, physical strength compared to Dricus Du Plessis, and the clear advantage Chimaev holds in ground exchanges.
You're like 2-3 weight classes above him. How strong is he? Because I've seen like he's a good training partner for you.
Yeah, no, he's very natural, strong, you know, and he has very strong genes, and he just comes with raw power, you know. All his power just comes from nature, you know.
Just natural.
Right? Natural, yeah. So guys, to get the full All-Stars experience.
Kamaru Usman discussed the strength of the middleweight division, public doubts about Khamzat Chimaev, Chimaev's performance against Robert Whittaker, Dricus Du Plessis' achievements, and the respect all fighters deserve.
Yeah, and just lastly, who do you see taking the belt at 185?
At 185? Listen, I told you guys, don't sleep on Khamzat. When he was fighting Robert Whittaker, everyone said, oh yeah, Whittaker's gonna get him. Hey, don't sleep on him. Khamzat's extremely talented, extremely strong. He can shock anyone. But Dricus du Plessis, you can't sleep on him as well. He's the champion for a reason, taking out 3 champions back to back to back. So, hey, respect to all those guys. I respect every one of these fighters. You know, I know people at home were spectators and were fans, and they like to just kind of talk. Oh, he had a bad performance. He had a boring one. But, hey, you have to respect each and every one of these guys that's willing to get in here, you know, in little bitty gloves and damn near underwear and bare their soul in here. So you have to respect that.
Edmund Shabazian discussed the importance of the early rounds, Chimaev's aggressive grappling, du Plessis' resilience, unpredictable style, momentum shifts, and the overall closeness of the matchup.
Actually, I think if it's the first 2 rounds, I think Chimaev, if he doesn't finish him in the first 2 rounds, du Plessis should take it. But if it's in the first 2 rounds, if Chimaev's gonna win, it's gonna be in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah. What's your official pick?
I don't know. I don't know. I kind of want to lean towards DDP because he's a tough dude, man, and he's just so awkward, and you never know, he might scramble out of those like positions Chimaev puts him in. But Chimaev is a dog too, man. The guy doesn't stop, and he's relentless with his grappling.
Coach Eric Nixon discussed Dricus du Plessis' character, growth since past fights, rise to champion, calculated style, timing disruption, and the strategy of early takedowns to beat him.
I'm so curious to how Khamzat and DDP plays out. I feel like DDP's going to be able to weather the storm the first 2 rounds and then start taking off the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th. What do you think?
I do too. I've studied DDP a bunch. Super respectful, nice guy. He's very well coached. Just his overall development, he's jumped leaps and bounds in between that Brad fight to now being world champion. People think it looks erratic, but it's not. It's very calculated what he's trying to do. It's a lot of those same reps that he does, but there's a motion to him that's kind of hard to gather rhythm. How do you eliminate all that? Take a guy down, put him on his back.
Darren Till discussed his personal views on Dricus du Plessis, frustration with du Plessis' unorthodox success, respect for him as a competitor, strong support for Khamzat Chimaev, prediction of an early finish, and Chimaev's intense preparation for the fight.
He beats Khamzat, your boy.
No, look, with respect, I'm never going to look past Dricus because he trains hard, he's super dedicated, he's super strong, and he's got that awkward style that doesn't make any sense. I think Khamzat will beat him inside the 2 rounds. I really do believe that. But look, Khamzat knows. I was speaking to Khamzat on the FaceTime the other day because I'm meant to be going out to Dubai to help with the camp. Khamzat knows it's a tough fight, but, you know, Khamzat trains like a beast. I do think Khamzat gets it in 2 rounds done.
Robert Whittaker discussed Khamzat Chimaev's wrestling technique, du Plessis' toughness and determination, his ability to handle early pressure, and the potential for momentum to shift in du Plessis' favor later in the fight.
Khamzat and DDP, the next fight. Who do you think is going to walk away as the champion?
I can't see anyone really stopping Chimaev's takedowns. Like, his takedowns are so hard to stop. It's super high level. Can DDP drag it into those later rounds? Can it get through the first grappling exchanges and then start to capitalize on his just like persistence, like doggedness to go away? Honestly, if Chimaev can't get DDP out of there, DDP wins. DDP wins almost every fight. You can't get rid of him, right? Because he's like mold, dude.
Ariel Helwani discussed Dricus du Plessis' ability to adjust mid-fight, the value of extending the fight to learn Chimaev's style, managing early challenges, and gaining control in the later rounds.
I think he takes him to deep water and he figures it out, and I think it's like a learning lesson for him and all this stuff.
Bo Nickel discussed Khamzat Chimaev's grappling advantage, the dominance of wrestling in modern MMA, his own wrestling background, current top grapplers in the sport, and the difficulty of countering grappling heavy styles in today's competition.
I would, you know, just based on the styles, I just think that the grappling style, you know, I might be biased. I'm definitely biased, but I think the grappling style is so hard to, it's so hard to beat, and it's so hard to defend against. And I guess if you look at it from a analytical point of view, you have so many. It's really become the dominant force in the sport. You got Marab, you got Islam, you got, you know, Bilal, you got Khamzat. You even have you can even look at Topuria. Obviously, people know he's more of a boxing style, and he does a lot more striking. But his background is wrestling. You know, he did that before anything else, and so it's really wrestlers that are dominating grapplers that are dominating the sport right now. And so I think that I would give the edge to Khamzat.
Bo Nickel discussed Khamzat Chimaev's lack of late-round experience, du Plessis' endurance and late-fight strength, the potential momentum shift in later rounds, and the continued importance of wrestling as the deciding factor in the matchup.
But we still have yet to see Khamzat ever fight a fourth and a fifth round. We've seen that from DDP, and so that's where he would have the advantage. You know, if it goes deep, fourth and fifth round, I think that DDP might be able to pull it out. But you know, all in all, I think the grappling style is definitely an overwhelming style to try to deal with.
Sean Strickland discussed the grappling styles of both fighters, Chimaev's Chechen wrestling background, the difficulty of facing that style, the possibility of neutralizing it with smart tactics, and du Plessis' chances if he controls the pace.
So those little Chechen, I don't want to say Chechen, he's not Chechen, he's Swedish, but those little Chechen whore, like, dude, they can grapple. And like someone like me, who I've been training with these for years, I usually could counter wrestle and grapple them. So I just don't know if Dricus can be able to counter wrestle him.
Yeah.
But if he can, I think he wins all hands down, you know. I sparred the Chechen whore, like hands down, I think Dricus wins.
Sean Strickland discussed the technical aspects of the matchup, Chimaev's wrestling background, and du Plessis' potential strategy. However, his analysis was overshadowed by a controversial and offensive remark related to Chimaev's background and religion, sparking backlash and wider debates on xenophobia and cultural respect in MMA.
But it's just going to come down to, like, are you going to be able to, like, stop that counter? Are you going to be able to counter wrestle? And like, you can, it's not hard. You just got to, like, it's not hard. But, you know, I've been training these little terrorists for forever. So it's like, I just got to know how to do it.
Bilal Muhammad discussed Khamzat Chimaev's recent opponents, grappling vulnerabilities, du Plessis' toughness and wrestling, potential cardio issues in longer fights, and the challenges du Plessis could pose.
Dricus du Plessis. But when you're looking at the guys he fought stylistically, right, he hasn't fought a guy who trying to take him down yet. It's all been strikers. His last two, it's Adesanya and Strickland. Like when he fought Brunson was killing him the first couple rounds. Yeah. And he just gassed. You know, we've seen him get taken down by Brunson. We've seen him get taken down by Whitaker. He's gotten taken down by you guys so easily. That's why I think Chimaev's going to walk through.
I know that's your boy, but Khamzat has got some of the worst cardio in the entire company.
You don't need cardio if you finish the guy in 2 minutes.
But Dricus isn't going to get finished. He's got an iron chin and an iron will.
Demetrius Johnson discussed the importance of tempo control, du Plessis' striking advantage, Chimaev's late fight fatigue, the unpredictability of du Plessis' stand-up style, and the constant threat of Chimaev's wrestling.
If Chimaev cannot get him down,
he will. But yeah.
But let's say he does get him down.
Yep.
And he doesn't finish him, right? I think he's spent. Because you look at his fights. You look when he fought Gilbert Burns. When he fought Kamaru Usman, he had Kamaru Usman fully mounted, back hooks and everything, right?
Yep.
Working for the choke, pounding him, could not finish him,
Couldn't get him.
The rest of the time, he could not find it was shadow boxer. Granted, he might be sick or whatever, but if he cannot figure it out within those first 2 rounds or the first round he gets him down, I think DDP is gonna do what he does best. He's gonna be awkward. He's gonna be do the kicks. And I think DDP is gonna beat him.
Yeah,
like I think Khamzat Chimaev is more athletic, more traditional, but I think that awkwardness of the old what did he say? The lanky man style. I think DDP is gonna put in the bag.
Daniel Cormier discussed the high-level nature of the matchup, emotional triggers for Chimaev, du Plessis' unorthodox striking, fan perceptions, and the overall competitiveness of the fight.
Yeah, I think it's a great fight, and you're right. You want to piss off Khamzat, call him scared. You want to make Chimaev mad, call him afraid of anything, and he'll come at you like a bat out of hell. I think it's a great fight. I think Dricus's awkward ability and his ability to create different angles to make you not recognize what you're seeing makes it a much tougher fight than most people may anticipate. A couple fights ago, everybody would have thought Khamzat would just run through Dricus du Plessis. But if you today feel that way, you're out of your mind. If you today can openly say Khamzat Chimaev is just going to run through Dricus du Plessis and is not going to be competitive, you have no idea what mixed martial arts is. This is going to be a fun fight. It's going to be a good fight, and I can't wait to watch it.
Cormier also talked about the lack of training history between the two, rising tension, contrasting styles, clashing personalities, and the added drama surrounding the build-up.
We know that these two guys don't like each other. We don't have the backdrop of them training prior like Strickland and Khamzat had, but you can tell they don't like each other. They are so completely different. I think in that different is going to make for not only a good fight, but also a very fun build-up to the fight.
That's it for today's video. So what are your thoughts on this? What do you think about their fight? Share your thoughts in the comment section, and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video. Also check out our other videos on the screen right now.